All right, guys. Hey, come on in the room. Come on in. Give me a good hello. Give me a hand wave. Give me something. Let me know you're here. Let me know you're excited about tonight, because this is going to be a really, really awesome show. I'm really excited. I've enjoyed the time I've gotten to spend with our guests this evening, and I think y'all are going to enjoy it too. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. So, let me know you're here. Get that heart me up there if you're in the place where the heart me's are. Hey, like and subscribe. If anybody's over there on the other places, just let me know. It's hard when you're doing something across so many places to actually say all the words you need to, because all of the places don't like the words that I want to say. You know what I'm saying? And then we don't get in the good places, and I don't want that to happen. So y'all know what needs to be done. If you can turn your phone sideways and see us in all of our wide glory, it will be a much better experience for you. What's up? Hey, James, how are you doing? Hey, we got LightSpeed in the room. Y'all know that guy, right? He'll be in just a minute. Bandit 3D, how are you? Nate, Designing Life. Good to see. Oh, Designing Life is here. Hold on. Our favorite song, our favorite creator, our favorite grow person. Look at that. Come on in the room, guys. Say hello. We're going to get started. I just wanted to kind of run through a couple of things before. Make sure you do all the things like subscribe, heart me, rotate that screen. I did get my first subscriber a week or so ago. I was really, really excited. Join the Discord. The Discord's always important. You will always find the most recent news, the recent things going on with Asylum Life and just the community in general. We've got some stuff coming up. Guys, I got back from Open Source. I really, really, really think I want to get a group together and get a booth for Open Source next year. I think we would have a lot of fun. It's like this huge science fair. I really, really enjoyed it. So we're going to do some talking over in the Discord. So if you're interested in something like that, or even just watching the process, we're going to have a lot of fun there and just see, what kind of damage we can do. How much fun can we have? What happens? All right, so who else is here? Everybody wave, say hey. We got Bobby, we got user 583, we got Hard, there we go, man, how are you? Come on in, we got a lot of people rolling in. I'm excited about tonight. Let me know if you're excited, because we've got a great guest. I know I love bringing guests in. Thursday nights are my favorite time. Just working through everything. Farrell, how are you doing? Farrell 3D, good to see you. Thank you for saying hey. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the shares and everything, guys. I really, really appreciate that. I hope we can get this show going and get it out to as many people as possible, because y'all know why. Y'all know why we do this, right? Y'all get it? Y'all know why we do this? Why we do the show? What are those 3 reasons we do the show? With people, we bring visitors in. Anybody? Anyone? No? The first one, we like to meet cool people, right? I did that at Open Source. I got to meet some really cool people. Hey to all the people at Open Source I met. So meet really cool people. We want to get to know the creators that we follow better, which that's the part I really enjoy, just getting to hear people's stories and understand where they are and where they've been. And then number 3, what we want to expose them to a larger audience. So that's where your responsibility comes in. That's part of that value for value that we talk about, where you take that time, get those likes, get those shares out, share the links in all of the places to the people that you know, so they can come and they can learn about our guest, which, speaking of, I want to introduce our guest tonight. He's a great designer and a creator. Now, some people think he's very controversial. We're going to talk about some of that, and we're going to find out why, but I consider this guy one of my friends. I've enjoyed getting to know him, and it's been a while since we've been able to talk, but it's been fun catching up. So everybody, I would like to introduce y'all to LightSpeed. How's it going, Mr. Steven?
What's up?
How are you? Good to see you.
Hello.
Woo-hoo.
How's it going?
Everybody
Good
say hey. Everybody say hey.
Hey. Tap the screen.
There you go. Do all those things. I always hate asking for that. And it's always interesting what they decide that we can say and can't say. So it's pretty tough. Mr. Exaggeration, how are you? Nate, we got Nate in the house too. Good to see you. Thank you guys for coming on in. keep those tapping. I don't. What y'all's number? What number do y'all want to hit tonight? Huh? What number are we going to get Lightspeed to so people know about him?
20,000.
20,000. That sounds like a good number. That's not
Yeah.
far off. Y'all have actually done that before a couple of times. Y'all can make that one happy. What's up, Lady Invictus? Oh, we got somebody saying 30K. They think they can hit 30K tonight. That will
I
be
believe it.
interesting. That will be interesting. I hope you do it. I hope you do it. Anyway, how are you doing today? Everything copacetic with you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. A little
Yeah.
different backdrop, but yeah, I'm doing all right.
I was gonna say, where are you at? Where are you?
I am in a town called Hermosillo, Sonora, Mexico, which is central Mexico.
Oh,
Um, and this is where my wife's from, so this is where we come to. We drive here
okay.
pretty often.
Okay. Now you
Hmm.
say pretty off, like, is this kind of a back and forth thing, or do you spend a certain amount of time?
Yeah, about every other week, it seems like we're here. Usually once a month or so, but every other week probably is more like it. Yeah, we spend a
Okay.
lot of time down here.
Okay. That's awesome. That is
Yeah.
awesome. And any special events going on this time, or just going down
Uh,
for a
y-
visit?
Yeah, so my daughter, my wife's daughter is graduating from medical school. Well, actually, she graduated last week, but now it's a 2 week process to graduate down here. It takes forever.
Oh, wow.
So they have a series of parties and meetings and photo shoots and stuff. So tomorrow's the final day. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
in the
That's
church. We're going to the church to do the final thing.
the
So yeah,
fun. Okay. That's awesome. Well, congratulations.
yeah.
Everybody
Thank you.
tell the daughter congratulations. I think that's awesome. Medical school. That's a tough one right there. That is
Yeah,
years and years and years of life right there. So hey,
yeah.
printing pilot, how are you? Good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Printing pilot.
Super 3D Talk says hello. Says
What up?
congrats. Design Life says congrats. Awesome, awesome, awesome. But good to see everybody. Y'all just keep coming in, keep sharing. Looks like we've got a great group tonight, and I'm really excited about some of the things we're going to get into. Now, the first thing, y'all know, one of my important things I've got to know about every creator. What are you drinking?
Well, I was drink you can't drink the water here, so I usually drink Fanta when I'm here. I bring American Fanta, not
Ah,
Mexican Fanta. Um, but I do have some water, some Bonafont water
okay. Now,
from the.
what's the difference between their Fanta and our Fanta?
It's all their sodas down here are they have natural sugars in them
Right.
instead of corn syrup. And so it tastes very different than regular. And all their candies too are very different. And all their candies are in little tiny pieces. It's like a movement by their health department or whatever to keep everybody more healthy, I guess.
Okay.
Less sugar. Yeah,
Okay. I'm trying to remember. There was a
yeah.
candy for a while.
Wait, you
Ah,
never had Mexican Coke?
I've
Mexican
had
Coke's the
Mexican
best.
Coke.
Mexican Coke's is
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
No, it's definitely good. It's definitely good, and their vanilla Coke is really good too. I like
yeah. Kids down here they eat a lot of for candy. They eat tamarind and chili usually.
tamarindo. That's what I was
Yeah,
trying to remember.
yeah,
I love that candy, even the spicy one. The spicy one's kind of cool.
yeah,
I love
yeah,
tamarindo with a little bit of red pepper. That's
yeah. It's
awesome.
good.
That is great. Well, cool. All right. So a Fanta guy. Now, is that like a favorite drink of yours? Is
Yeah, if I drink soda, I drink Fanta
okay.
usually, or
Okay.
Dr Pepper, one of the two. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. We
I
got
need
you.
to drink less because I'm getting freaking huge. Yeah,
Don't
so
we? I am right there with you. I am right there with you.
hmm
I've been trying. We got Super 3D Top. Yeah, Mexican Coke's a lot different. You are correct. Mexican candy is the best. And
it is.
the printing pilot, I love orange soda. Orange soda is a good one. That's a good
Yeah,
choice.
me too.
That's a good choice. Well, keep tapping, guys. Looking good. I'm really excited about the things that we're going to get into. Keep hitting the heart me's, do all that things. Become a part of the team and join the Discord, guys. That's really, really important to just become a part of this community so you can hear the things that are going on because we've got some really awesome things coming up. We've got going to be doing an OBS tutorial this month. We're going to be doing a wine and paint again in another couple of months. We're going to try to open that up to as many people as we can. Last time we got full. And so there's a lot coming up. So keep sharing this out, keep getting more people in here, and hopefully we can have some more events. Now, Steve, what is your normie job?
I don't really have a normie job anymore. This is my normie job. Is
Okay.
either I guess you could call it you know, a content creator, or I make files for Patreon and things. That I would say was is probably 50% of it, and then the other 50% of it is TikTok Shop and affiliate sales, probably.
Okay. What's
So
the elevator pitch? If somebody asks what you do, what's kind of your elevator pitch that you give them? We talk about elevator pitches a lot here, so I'm always interested in how people approach it.
yeah, so I usually tell them that I'm a content creator or a social media influencer, but just because that resonates with most people, I think
Okay. Okay. That's
they know what
awesome.
it is,
Yeah.
anyways. You know what
Now
I mean?
that makes sense.
I do often get into like yeah, Yapverse, and start telling them, well, I create 3D printing files, and then I have to explain what that is, and so yeah,
I know that's the
content
worst
creator.
part when you kind of get caught off guard and you're like, well, yeah, now I do a little of this, and I do some of that, and you end up 10
Yeah,
minutes later, it's confusing, and you just kind of give
yeah.
up. So no, I totally get that. Now, are you going to any of the festivals this year? Are you looking at
Um,
anything?
I think I'm gonna go to Rapid TCT next week. I usually go to Murph, but didn't go this year, and I went to our Murph last year, but I didn't go this year either. Again, this is my first full year, like not working like a real job and doing this full time. And so, money is, and we're putting the kid through medical school, and
Yeah,
we're paying out of pocket. So it's been tight,
yeah.
So unless somebody I had sponsor opportunities for Murph that I didn't take, but I didn't want to be away from the computer too long. So
Okay, I gotcha. I gotcha. No, that
yeah,
makes sense. Hey, Zoltan, how are you doing? Good to see you in here, man. So
that's
I actually met Lightspeed and Zoltan at the same time, at the same
mm,
I met him at Remurf last year, and so that's
yeah.
a
He's my
memory.
TikTok husband.
Yep. There you
Yeah,
go. There you go. I was going to ask about
yeah.
that. That's awesome. That is
I
great.
talk to him every day, every day. Yep.
I love the relationships that form on TikTok. Um,
You know what's even funnier is that I met Zoltan the same time you did. You met us, and we have talked every day since.
that's cool.
And yeah, I consider him probably my best friend, honestly.
That's awesome. We got Alchemist Prince in here. We got Todd FPV is asking if Zoltan's mom is here. So
Zoltan's mom became a American citizen today, so it's a
oh,
pretty
that's
big deal today.
awesome. That is
So that's probably
great.
why he's asking. Yeah,
Congrats. Congrats.
sweet lady too, great lady. Yeah,
That is great.
she's one of my biggest fans, actually. Yeah,
That's great. That's
she's
great. Well,
awesome,
Zoltan, tell her we said congrats. That is awesome. That's a long process. That really is. That it's impressive when people do that.
especially
And
coming from Hungary. It's a long road, man.
yeah,
So
that is true. That is true. Well, that's awesome. Way to go, mom. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna kind of start moving in here, and a lot of the times, I kind of go through a story, but with Steven, with Mr. Lightspeed here, I want to get some things out of the way. um, I talked about in my introduction kind of how some people consider him to be a very controversial figure. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Steven, why do you think people think you're so controversial?
uh well, I get the story. So the story goes, right. So I worked for 21 years. I was in seafood distribution, and that's how I ended up in Arizona. And I was an executive for this company for 21 years, made a lot of money, did very well for myself. And in 2021, that kind of came to an abrupt, unexpected end. And when I got on TikTok, it was about 2 months later, and I was feeling not in the greatest mindset. But when I got on TikTok, I saw a bunch of people with Ender threes, telling people to do this, why, and the other thing. I mean, a lot of inexperienced people on TikTok at the time,
Hmm.
and my first criticisms were coming from me, like making videos, like in my mind helping people, but in their mind unwanted advice.
Gotcha.
So I think that kind of started it. And, I'm smart ass. I'm quick on my feet, and that tends to rub people the wrong way. And
I
so
get that. Yeah.
yeah. So it was a
No.
little rough start, let's
Yeah.
say.
No, and that's cool, and that's cool, and I assume that's why people in the chat room in the peanut gallery are going brim raft or no raft. What?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so they used to call me the Raft King, right? Because when I came on TikTok, a lot of people, they would say, my prints aren't sticking, and 10 people would say, "Oh, well, just put it on a raft, or do a brim, or spray hairspray on it, sugar water." And I go, "No, no, no. If you level your bed correctly, right, you don't need any of those things, even with a dragon or whatever." And that some people appreciated it, some people didn't, and yeah, so I had people making models of me as the Raft King, literally.
that's pretty. I don't know that I ever saw those. I'm gonna have to look around for those.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. So I think that's something y'all hear me talk about a lot lately, guys. When it comes to people giving advice and having permission to give advice or not permission to give advice, or even when, and we don't talk political, we don't talk religious around here, but when you're talking to people about things and they say something back that kind of hits you the wrong way, always step back.
sure.
We always talk about if you see somebody online and you hate them because of what you saw online, the problem is not them, it's you. You don't know where they're at. You don't truly know what's going on. You know what's been shown. You just need to kind of step back, approach the situation, in a different way. Because most of the time, people are really trying to be helpful. They really, really are. I
Yeah,
think I do believe that most people, especially in the printing community, I think the majority of people want the best for everybody when it comes to printing and
true.
success. And so we always kind of have to approach it in that way. And I think, it's easy not to, especially if we're having a bad day and somebody says something, we can be like, "Ugh," and we'll snap back or whatever. But that's
Well,
cool.
I was having a bad year combined with, a bunch of personal stuff, right? And then
Yeah.
coming on here and going, "Why are you telling people to put everything on rafts?" And it just, those two things, unwanted advice combined with, personal strife in my own life. My mom passed away. There was a bunch of stuff that happened in a string of like 10 months. And TikTok was like an outlet for me, and I basically like rage bait it, and then I would shut it off at the end of the day and didn't care.
Oh, I gotcha.
So
I gotcha. Well, it's kind of like
yeah,
therapy then. Basically it was your therapy.
mostly, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
you could thank my daughter. My daughter's the one who talked me into going on TikTok, so it's her
well,
fault.
so why did you get started on TikTok? What was the point? What was the purpose of jumping in to that
Okay,
space?
so one thing I've always done since 3D printing is I've always dabbled in affiliate marketing. So one of my big ones is slice engineering was like my number one thing, right?
Okay.
And so in 2021, I had this mind. I almost went to work for Lulzbot. I almost went to work for Slice Engineering.
Okay.
And both of those didn't pan out. And so come January, February, I get on TikTok, and I'd always done affiliate marketing on Twitter and Facebook groups, right? Like I would go through and poke through Facebook groups and insert myself and my link wherever I could.
Right.
Um,
The
and
good old
I
days.
came on TikTok, and it was like a treasure trove of people that I felt like could benefit from their products. And so I started making content surrounding their products mostly. And we sold $100,000 in parts and pieces, not hot ends, parts and pieces.
Wow.
And about 12, and that first 12 months was about $100,000 in sales,
Wow.
which is wild. And that's like heat breaks and nozzles and you
Yeah.
know all that stuff.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay. No, that's pretty cool.
but
And
mainly it was an opportunity, but that has since dried up a million years ago. So
right.
with the advent of bamboo, and it's changed everything. So
Right, right. No, I totally agree with that, and we'll definitely get into some more of that. Let's see. We get some of these comments. Um, tell all your friends you make 3D prints, and all of them will ask for free stuff. Yeah. Let's
that's
see.
true.
We'll keep going. I saw some other. I was Super 3D Talk says I was one of those unexperienced people. Yeah, a lot of bad advice. Yeah, and we're all at different levels. I think there's
Sure.
that quote I always talk about where it's simplicity on the other side of complexity. Where when we're studying
Hmm.
something, it's a great Oliver Wendell Holmes quote where everything looks very complex and we really really study it and we come up with our methods, but then when we get on the other side we realize it wasn't as hard as I made it out to be, like math you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
uh, And so,
I think that 3D printing is fraught with a blind leading the blind scenario. Like Super 3D Talk said, right? You get one guy with an Ender 3 that's got a problem, and then 1,000 other people with Ender 3s that also just started, right?
right.
And they all have a different version of what worked for them. And so this is the experience I came into. I felt like was like they were all saying, "Oh, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this," and in my opinion, they're just creating more of this like misinformation, or maybe they got lucky doing something weird, and now they're telling everybody else to do it. And so I'd been at that point, I'd been in 3D printing since 2000, 16, 17,
Okay.
something like that.
Okay.
So I was pretty familiar with it. And I was like, no, 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 no. Literally somebody's telling them to pour sugar water on it, on their bed and let it dry. Just weird stuff that I never heard of
Yeah.
before. So
No, I get that. And I think the very first week I got my first printer and I had a textured sheet, and somebody said, "Oh, wash it with acetone and everything will stick." Yeah, you know what happened to that sheet.
Yeah.
You know what happened to
ruins
that
them.
sheet.
Yeah.
See, we got Grizz. Steven is my hero. He always makes me laugh till I cry. All hobbies. Yep, all hobbies. LightSpeed is the hardest worker. Get his Patreon. There you go. We got a plug for the Patreon. Blind leading the blind 1,000%. So, and they laughed at your face for that when I made the acetone comment. I knew you'd know exactly where that was going.
Yeah.
So that's great. That's great. So we'll delve into some of that more later. And I know there's so much from when you started TikTok to where you are now, and kind of even how you approach TikTok is totally different. And we're going to get a lot more into that, but we're going to kind of get some of these topics as far as like first printer. What was your very, very first printer?
I was gonna buy ANET A8. That was like my goal. And I started talking to my kids and family about it, and they surprised me on my birthday with the Flash Forge Finder,
Okay.
which is like a 180 by 180 by 180. It's a printer that's as big as a bamboo, but it has a bed the size of 180.
Yeah,
little tiny guy.
It's a little more boxy. It didn't have not quite an enclosure, but it's similar to like an enclosure. So yeah,
I'll tell you what, I put 7,000 or 8,000 hours on that machine, and I made tons of stuff in that little machine. Tons.
Yeah. As hard as people are on Flash Forge, they have come out with some pretty good stuff. They really have. They really, really have. So what's your favorite printer you've ever owned? Out of all your printers, what's your favorite printer?
I'm going to say, well, I mean, out of all the printers I've ever owned, I mean, I'd be remiss to not say my Prusa MK3 is probably like the one that like was a ride or die for a really long time. It's definitely that, or Voron 2.4, or the V400 FL Sun probably.
Okay.
I do love the new A1s a lot, but in my opinion, they're like throwaway printers. You're going to use them till they're broke and then toss them away.
Yeah,
new ones.
No, I would agree. It's an appliance, basically. It's an appliance style printer. I agree with that. So we didn't get a solid, but so we had three basic printers there. So the FL Sun, your MK3, and what was the other one?
I'm going to say the Voron 2.4 is probably my favorite printer of all time.
Okay.
It stood the test of time in a world that's changing around it. It's still very relevant today.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I would agree. What's up, Carrot Box? How are you doing? Good to see you. So if somebody came up to you and said, I want a printer, and they said, I'm looking at a Creality or a Bamboo, what would you say?
I would definitely steer people with. I just made a video today about Creality and how they're eliminating all their parts for their old printers. They're discontinuing them.
Yeah.
That is wild to me. Printers that are 2 years old. I mean, I think you'd be crazy to not recommend a Bamboo A1 Mini to somebody that's starting. I mean, $200 is like. I mean, when I started 3D printing, that's what an ANET cost. It cost $200. I'll never forget how much it cost.
Yeah.
And to see what an A1 Mini is today is insanity. Yeah. It's just it's a no brainer.
Yeah, I got you. The first one I had was a Tronxy. And those were pretty pricey. And then I bought my Prusa, and that one was really pricey. But
Yeah.
Definitely,
That was my
definitely.
second printer was a Prusa,
Okay.
and I kept that all the way up until the Bamboo came out.
Yeah. Yeah. I still
Hmm.
have both my MK3s. Um,
Yeah.
so do you ever suggest people look at Crealities if they want to tinker, or how do you kind of approach people, helping people make that decision?
Well, this is where a lot of the controversy came from because when I came on TikTok, I had a room full of Prusas, and I had Simi CNC and a Railcore and a few others, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would always tell people, like, to me, and I know a lot of people have had great success with it. Like Grizz had a lot of success with it. It's Boy in Space had a lot of success with it. My personal opinion is that they're not the greatest printers of all time. And if I had to recommend one today, I still would not recommend a Creality
Okay.
over, what else is on the market today.
Okay. No,
Personally,
totally get it. Totally get that.
I think they always ship you a printer that's got to be fixed, and I haven't
Yeah.
seen them not do that yet. The
Yeah.
K1 needed fixed. I have a K1. I finally bought one. It was my first Creality I ever bought with my own money, and it's a great printer. It prints fantastic, but I had to fix it.
Right. Yeah. And
So
you definitely did. You definitely did. I'm with you there. Let's see. Todd SPV is saying I got Dremel 3D 45 10 years ago. That's
yeah, Dremels were good
yeah,
too.
Dremels were pretty good.
Expensive.
Here's a good question from Carrot Box. What's a feature that current printers do not have you think would be a great addition?
Um, ooh, that's a good. I think the feature that everybody wants that is still rather rare is the multicolor thing, which is kind of changing this year.
Yeah.
But I don't think multicolor as it is today because one of the things, and I don't know why this happens, but I met Joe Prusha a couple years ago at Murph, and he and I have stayed in contact off and on throughout the years. And I never realized it until I talked to him, but like Bamboo is creating a massive waste problem, right? And
Hmm.
so I think the one thing that we need to figure out is how to do what we're doing without so much waste.
Yeah.
Um, I
Yeah.
mean, whether you're an environmentalist or not is irrelevant. It's just like it's a wild amount of money that's going down the drain or harmful plastics, whichever way you look at it.
Oh, I
So
I agree. I mean, I definitely think there's a lot of way. I'm actually look around my house every day to find ways to use my poop from my little
yeah,
A1, and I don't have as much as some people. I know people who collect 55-gallon barrels of it,
yeah.
and they're trying to figure
Well,
out
you
things
know
to
where
do.
that just real quick. So one day I was talking to Joe Prusha when the A1 came out, and I was telling him, I said, Joe, you guys got to do the filament cutting thing, right? You got to do the cutting. And he straight up said, he goes, we will never do this ever. He said, I don't care if we have to eliminate multicolor printing altogether.
Hmm.
We will never do it. And I didn't realize that's the key to Bamboo's success, but it's also like massively wasteful, right? Like,
Right.
but that is the secret recipe, is that cutting the filament off. Is if you've ever had an MK3 with an MMU, you know what I'm talking about. Tip forming is not reliable. So
Right. Right. No, and I'm with you on that one. I definitely agree that there has to be a better way, but I do think that if a company that produces printers, if by the end of this year, I might give them to the middle of next year, if they don't have some form of multicolor, they're going to be pushed out of the market pretty quickly.
well, and Asylum, the thing that blows me away is all these Chinese companies right now is like, I feel like they adopted the worst part of Bamboo. Like, I
Mhm.
understand copying Bamboo, that makes a lot of sense, but they adopted the outside rolling AMS that cuts the tip off. I mean, they had a chance to take that and build on it, and I think Bamboo's next iteration they will build on that. I really believe that
Yeah.
they're going to change something. Um, but they should have copied the AMS Lite. It's a superior system. You know.
Yes, I agree, and I don't even think there's as much waste with the AMS Lite either, from what I can tell.
True. Yeah.
And
Hmm.
so I definitely think it's a better, way, way better either iteration. And then you see companies like Anchor. Anchor, they were working on the 6 nozzle head for a while. You have a lot of different people trying to approach it. I have a Cetus 2 here at my house that has the filament swap internal, and it swaps
Yeah.
filament within, 5 millimeters. And so there's a lot of things that people are trying. We'll get there one day. I think so.
Anchor make is a sad story of a big old gorilla that just couldn't move fast enough, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly. I have one. They sent me one of their printers. They're fantastic printers. Really good printers.
Yeah. And I actually sat at Open Source and talked to one of the Anchor people, and we had some
Hmm.
really long conversations about presence in the community and, not changing out their reps so often, letting
Oh
people
my
really,
God,
really
yeah.
dig into, so it does get a little bit crazy. Let's see if we have anything. Uh, cutting filament also wastes much time. Yeah, that's very, very true. Tip forming on the MMU. Oh, the printing pilot says tip forming on the MMU3 is great.
Mm.
The Prusa XL. Now, to me, that's the way I've seen the market. I felt like the market needed to go with multi-tool head,
Yeah.
because I think it opens up a lot of different possibilities besides just filament changes. There's other tools down the road that you can add to it too.
Yeah, so I could have got an XL. I haven't done it yet. I still have the offer there. I just haven't done it yet. Um, the problem with the tool head thing is like the cost goes. I mean, you're literally quadrupling the
Yeah,
cost of the machine.
yeah,
But man, is the XL a cool machine.
it
I mean,
is.
there's no taking that away. I
Yeah,
mean, it's $5,000, but it's sick for sure.
yeah.
And Carrot Box, it goes both ways, just so you know. My comb. He asked me about my comb over.
Yeah, I keep getting people. So tell us again your very first printer. Your very first printer. I think people miss that.
Flash Forge Finder.
There we go. Flash forward finder, guys. There we go. I just saw the question kept popping up in the room. I'm trying to catch up with all the
Yeah.
comments too. Um, what's up? We got Ronnie V in here. How are you doing? Good to see you, Ronnie V. Thank y'all guys for coming in. Try, how are you doing? Good to see you in here. Thank you guys for coming tonight. We are talking here to LightSpeed, one of our great creators over on TikTok and many other social media places. If you ever go into his profile, check out his link tree, you will find everything over there. But we're just having a conversation, getting to know him better, understanding his travels through the social media world, how he approached it, and how his approaches have changed. So we'll keep going on that. Peanut Gallery, if you have any other questions, keep posting those in there. I'm watching it. I'm paying attention, and I will get them in at some point in time if I can. Now, one thing a lot of people ask me when to say, hey, bamboo versus Prusa. What are your opinions there when it comes to those two?
I think Prusa is a better company, but I think Bamboo is a better printer currently.
Okay.
I think Prusa printers are great, but they're not at the level. When they released the MK4, they only did that because of the pressure of Bamboo, in my opinion. And I don't think they'll get another shot. They won't get another kick at the cat. It was a lame duck. It was kind of like a lob, like to just kind of quiet people down. And I don't think they'll get another shot to. They're going to have to come out with something pretty amazing,
Okay.
I think.
Okay. That's fair.
But Joe Prusha himself, despite all the criticism of him, I found him to be a very personable, very humble, very nice person to me.
Yeah.
But I think Bamboo has been the opposite. I think Bamboo treats their creators. I think they could do a better job with their customers and creators personally.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I think just hearing through the back channels, I'm hoping creator changes, the way they treat creators is changing. It sounds like there's a few things that are starting to happen. Maybe they understand. I think there's been a lot of conversations this year through a lot of different people to Chinese companies, saying, hey, you got to get over here. You want to be in the American market. You've got to understand the American market. And, if you got guys like the real Sam Prentice and some of them who've really been able to get into some of those companies and talk to some people and say, hey, here's what's going on. And guys like you that get to be able to talk to those important people in those important positions and just say, look, here's what's going on. Here is how we see it. And here's
what I think, whether you like Joe Prusha or Prusha as a company, Joe Prusha is our only hope. He really is the only hope. Bamboo came in and clobbered the market, and rightfully so took their position at the top. However, the only people that can push back, everybody said Creality, it's not Creality. The K2 is a great reason why they are not, the K2 came out and Bamboo collectively took a side. That's what I think. I think they went, oh, okay, they're just copying us, right?
Right.
I
Oh,
think that,
literally the
I think
OS
that
and everything.
yeah, I think Joe Prusha is the only one with the wherewithal, the capabilities to like really come out with a Core XY multicolor machine that is phenomenal in every way. Will he do it? Will it cost a fortune? Probably. I don't know, but I hope he does. I hope he does it.
Yeah, I hope so too. It has been interesting though to see Creality and how they've really pushed the last year. They've really been trying to dig into the community and really become a part of
Totally.
it and do a lot. So that's promising. I think that's a hopeful thing. We had a question. Where was that? What is your favorite Care Bear?
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't expecting that. I think my favorite one is the Luck Bear, the one with the 4-leaf clover on it.
Okay, okay, not the Weed Bear. No, sorry.
No, no, I don't partake myself, but I can't afford that. But yeah, or the Trump Bear was funny. But yeah.
What brought about the whole Care Bear type thing? The you're going down a
The truth
road.
of the matter, yeah. So it's no secret where I get most of my ideas, right? I get 99% of my ideas from Zoltan. So Zoltan is the best like idea guy that I've ever met. Like the guy gives me he gives me a million ideas. Most of them I don't do. A lot of them I do. But the Care Bears was one. It came from. I had a dream about my little sister. My older sister used to force me to watch Care Bears when I was a kid. And for whatever reason, I had a dream about it one night, and I woke up the next day and I said, "How come I've never seen an articulating Care Bear before?" And so that's kind of where it came from.
Okay.
And then I just started plunking around on it to work on it, and they have a very particular look to them that they
Yeah.
have. It has to be perfect. So
Yeah. Definitely.
yeah.
Need a hawk. I'm going to say this wrong. Hawkta bear.
Oh,
I, I
that's
lost my.
a meme going around where she goes, "You got to do a hawk too on it."
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's funny.
Okay. Okay. I
Yeah.
got you. I got you. That shows where
If I
I'm
could
at.
figure that out, Bruce, I would. Yeah.
That's great. Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys, keep coming on in. We're seeing a lot of new people. That's awesome. Good to see all of y'all coming in. If you have any questions, just put them in the peanut gallery, put them in the chat box, put them down there. Let us know. I'm trying to get them all in. What is your favorite filament?
My favorite filament is Protopasta. I've always been a huge Protopasta customer.
Yeah.
Now that's changed a lot with my financial situation. When I was making, multi six figures every year, I had a whole room full of Protopasta. Today it's a treat. And I basically scour Amazon for whatever I can find because 99% of what I do is prototyping. So the best balance of like quality and price and colors is Sliceworks, hands down.
Okay.
Absolutely, for
Okay.
sure.
Good. I don't get many people who talk about Sliceworks filament. That's cool though. That's cool.
3 kilogram prototyping spools are sick, and he's got his own spool holder for it. And I plugged that into one of the bamboos, and I just prototype like crazy off of it.
That's
It's awesome.
That is great. That is great. Let's see. We
Yeah.
got, if you were a battery backup, how many amps would you be? How many?
8. I'm gonna say 8.
Eight.
I don't know the answer to that.
How many amp
Yeah.
hours? Okay, awesome.
I'm kind of known for being the battery guy. Well, now amp hours are different, so amp hours are different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd be 1,054 amp hours.
Okay,
I think.
there we go. Yeah, I'd missed the H. I didn't see the H on the end there.
Yeah.
So awesome. We got people
Well,
saying Slicework does. Hey, Laws, how are you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for jumping
just
in.
like this right here. Is it that? Do you got link in bio, guys? This is down in my showcase. If you guys want to pick one up,
link in
can't
bio.
really see it, but it's a
link in bio.
EcoFlow. Yep. I take it everywhere with me.
Check out his showcase. Check out his showcase. No, wherever things are sold. Awesome. Yeah. And that's something I definitely wanted to get into. It's really interesting. As you've changed, and we'll jump back to some of the other things, but your philosophy over the last I'd probably say 8 months, you really started picking up and doing more products. You've really kind of opened up and, shown a little bit more of your life and your processes, that type of thing. And you even started your Patreon, I think, within the last year. Am I right on that? Or
Yeah, a
okay,
little over a year. Yeah.
okay, okay. So
Hmm.
what
So
brought?
I started Patreon.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. The change.
Yeah.
Um, so I started my Patreon when I still had I had lost my big job and I'd started a new job that was kind of like a work from home job. And I started doing designing. And again, Zoltan was a friend of mine. And one day he asked me to start working on a Pokeball for him. And so I finally did it. And he said we should put this on Patreon. And I already had a Patreon. It had 12 patrons at the time. And I threw it up on Patreon, and it went wild. Right. Um, I realized that. Well, first of all, look, I used to be a jerk, right? I mean, I there's no two ways about it. I didn't deliver my message the way that I should have, and I was paying the price for that in the community, right? I got
Yeah.
a lot of criticism and a lot of pushback. Um, but as the Patreon and the things has become very big, and it's basically my only support system. I treat everybody in the community like a coworker, and so we're coming from a corporate world. I started telling myself like I'm not going to say things on the internet that I wouldn't say in an office, right? I'm not going to treat people differently than I would treat my coworkers, you know. And that was just kind of a realization, you know, that I had to
Yeah.
kind of come to on my own. And I had to make some amends, right? Like, it's boy in space, and um, there's some big ones, right? You asked me earlier who's my biggest like op, over time, and the answer is a lot of them, right?
Hmm.
There's a ton of them. I mean, I see Geeky Little Sparrow, you know, probably one of the biggest connections coming back together is probably her. And there's a lot of people that didn't like me because of the way I acted, the way I talked to people, and I just realized one day like if I want to do this, if I want to survive, I need to like look inward and fix it, you
Yeah.
know.
I,
So that's what I did.
I think it's great when someone can step back and kind of observe themselves and really take a good look at what's going on and what's happening. So many times we have a tendency to blame other people and rather than jumping back, not
Sure.
saying we take full responsibility, but we're the only one we can control, and
Yeah.
just be able to step back and look at that. And there's been some relationships that I saw, you know, for you that were rough early on, but now like
Yeah.
y'all are supporters of each other.
Yeah.
How do you approach? How do you come to the point? Let me think how I want to ask this. When you realize you need to make amends for something, how do you go about it? What's your process?
So, again, I worked 21 years in a corporate world, right? And you get self-reflected on every day, week, and month, whether you like it or not, especially being in a leadership role, right?
Right.
You're constantly under a microscope. For me, when I got on TikTok, it was like kind of like a relief valve because I didn't have that oversight all the time. And it was like I could say whatever I want, do whatever I want, you know what I mean? But when the same in person as it is on the internet, like Geeky Little Sparrow or whoever, anybody that I've wronged, the only way you can make amends is just look them straight in the eye and say, look, I effed up. I shouldn't have acted like that. I shouldn't have said that. And I'm sorry. Right.
Mm.
It's a genuine apology to the community for anybody that I have, upset or whatever the case may be. It certainly was never my intention originally was always to help. But again, it gets into that unwanted advice, and trying to be entertaining and funny at the same time.
Right.
I built a loyal following of that. I mean, a lot of people were like loyal followers, egging me on, right?
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, I also displaced a big part of the community too. So
Right.
at the end of the day, if you displace half the community, you're not winning at all.
Right. No, and I agree with
So
that. And it's interesting because I used to work with a group called Celebrate Recovery, and it was a 12-step program. I had some codependency issues and things that I had to deal with, and once I kind of started working through all my stuff, we would teach these 12 steps, and I'd get a group, and every time I would get a group, we would come to what we considered the fourth step, and that was the stepping back, analyzing yourself, and then realizing what you needed to do to make amends and everything. That was the
mhm.
point where half the crowd dropped out. That's where everybody goes,
Yeah,
nope, I'm done, I'm out. And that's,
yeah,
I think it's commendable to be able to step up and look somebody in the face, on your own and just say, hey, here it is, you know, take it as it
Yeah.
is.
I just did it 2 days ago, right? Like Nero 3D and we used to have kind of a relationship online. I met him in person. We had a great conversation at the trade shows, and he's had me blocked on Twitter forever, and I don't know why. I don't know what caused it.
Mm-hmm.
So I sent him a long apology letter saying, "Hey, if I did something to offend you, I'm sorry. I genuinely am sorry. It sucks that I miss out on your content. I watch your YouTube because you can't block me there. But I don't
Yeah.
want it to be. I don't want it to be like that. I don't
Yeah.
want it to be like that.
Yeah.
So, what else can you do? But right, like put your hat in your hand. When I was in corporate America, one of the things they used to do, they called it. I forget what the process was called, but they give all your team members, all your people, right? They could all every quarter they could give you unsolicited or totally anonymous feedback, right?
Right.
You want to talk about brutal truth? and brutal truth, right?
Yeah.
Like, and they would weed out the ones that they could tell that were like, just doing it to kick you. So I'm used to getting brutal truth. I don't like it, but I've recognized long enough to know some things about myself, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That you know, yeah.
No,
So
that's great. No, thank you for sharing all that. And it's guys, that's why one of the reasons we like to talk to everybody, because we can see, we all have amazing things that we've done. We all have bad things that we've
yeah,
done, and it's really about how we approach it in the end, and how we come back to people, whether it's our responsibility to apologize or their responsibility to apologize. We only have control of us. And I think
hmm
Stephen is definitely a testament to doing it the right way and moving forward. I think the story is amazing. Hey guys, welcome, Hat. How are you doing? Good to see you, Lee Shepard. Thanks for coming in. Um, and so, yeah, so listen to his advice. Listen to what he's talking about. I think this is really, really strong and powerful stuff that
I
he's
liken
saying
it
here.
to this. If just one little thing, I know that like, and this, I think everybody's been in this situation, whether as a kid or as an adult. But when you make a lot of money and you have everything, right? You have cars and houses, and your family has whatever they want. It's easy. It's super easy to sit back and just and like, what is their problem? Like, get a better job, dude. Like, what's your problem? It's so easy to be critical of and look down and be criticize everybody.
Hmm.
In this last 2 years, like I'm telling you, my life got flipped upside down and sideways, and some great things have come of it. I'm living a somewhat of a dream, but the downside of it is I had to recognize what a just complete ass I've been
Mm.
to not people on the internet, people in my life. Everybody. Frankly, if I'm being honest with you.
Okay.
So,
No,
yeah.
that's great. That's great. Oh, thank you so much for sharing that. I really, really appreciate that. Let's see. We have what inspired you to become a designer?
So in 2017, when I got that printer, I did what everybody did. We went to Thingiverse, and we were like, I was printing all the things that you could print on a 180 millimeter bed. And then I got the Prusa, and I ended up on Twitter for help because I couldn't get the thing to do a first layer to save my life. It was supposed to be just, it just worked, right?
Right,
Well, it
right.
didn't just work. So I met a guy on there named Filament Frenzy.
Mm,
Is probably one of the best 3D printer people I've ever met. Like,
mm,
phenomenal dude. Um, and I started seeing people on Twitter like dabbling and like learning how to do CAD design. And my son at the time was doing CAD design in school, and so we one day I watched a YouTube video because I was going to help him design a phone stand, and I came across this guy named Lars something or other from Fusion. He works for Adobe and or Acrobat or whatever it is, and he said you should if you model something every day that's in your environment, right? Like, so if you take your AirPods case and you say, look, today I'm going to take my calipers, I'm going to model this to the best of my ability in Fusion, and you do it every single day, after 6 months, you'll become like a pro. And so I started doing that. Like, and I'm telling you, I never missed a day. Every day I'd sit down on my computer and I would model salt shakers and forks and knives and things, like tangible things I could touch. And it turned into like just making stuff for myself. And
mm.
then It probably wasn't until that Pokeball that Zoltan had me design
Right.
that I really started thinking about making stuff for other people. So
Okay. No, that's cool. That's great advice. I think they did a study on that. They took a bunch of potters and they had a group of 10 people. They had their entire semester to make one pot the best that they could. And then they took the other 10 and they said, you got to make a pot every day. And then the very last one you're going to turn in. And they said the difference in what the ones who did it every day versus the ones who focused on one was amazing. And that the ones that had just been doing it continually were light years beyond what the one pot people were doing, and
right.
that's always good advice. Now, what is your software of choice?
So I use Fusion 360. I dabbled in Nomad a little bit. Um, Fusion is mostly where you do a lot of mechanical stuff or dimensioned stuff. And so that stuff, it really, to me now, it feels like the only way. And I started learning organic modeling about a year ago. I started
Okay.
dabbling in it with Nomad. And now I've learned that through Digitally Forged Designs was actually the first guy on TikTok, KC3D or whatever you want to call him, that you could do organic modeling in Fusion. I didn't know that.
Right.
So I started like doing that. And so now that I do everything in Fusion basically.
Yeah. I ran across that was one of the videos I ran across, and I was going to ask you about organic modeling in Fusion. Is there a certain area
Wow.
you do that? What are you finding? What are you
Yeah.
learning?
It's so funny. So I say that to people, and the number one question I get is like, I can't find it. Right? It's called the Form tool,
Mm-hmm.
and basically what it is it's a ball, a cylinder, or a flat plane that has faces on it and vertices, right? And so,
Right.
and you can pull the faces and the vertices, a bunch of them, one of them, or all of them, and you manipulate it with your mouse, basically, and you can keep adding, pieces onto it. And it's just like Nomad, except it's not so. Nomad to me is kind of sloppy, and like when I get done in Nomad, I look like I have a bunch of brush marks and a bunch of things I got to try to fix. When I get done in Fusion, it looks like what I intended it to look like.
Okay.
It's already kind of glassy smooth.
Right.
And what I love about Fusion is you can pull it. You turn it right into a solid body, and then you can start doing all your other dimensioned or
Right.
you can tie it right into your other designs
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. No, that's definitely true. That's definitely true. Who we got? We got Lantern Lore in here. How are you doing? Eskildson, good to see you. Done 3D is in here. Good to see y'all guys. Thank you for all the likes. I really appreciate it. We're at 17K, guys. Y'all are moving on along. That is awesome. That is great. Thank y'all for all the likes. Hit that heart me up there if you haven't hit the heart me yet. And I'm going to take just a second here just to kind of do some reminders. I talk about this every week. I talk about the value for value. And how this show's work, the show works. And we have the three things. Y'all know I'm big into threes. My dad was a pastor, so 3 is kind of the numbers I operate on. Value for value is, y'all remember it? Can anybody remember our 3? I always like to hear y'all say it if you can. Time, talent, treasure, right? Okay. All right. So time, that's the tapping, that's the liking, that's the sharing, that's coming into the Discord and spending some time there and interacting with the community. That's getting onto other people's socials within the community and interacting. Get over to LightSpeed's, comment and like some things, and get his numbers up for him. We're all just spending time together as a community, building each other up. The talent, if you have a talent, you might like designing things for people. You might like graphics and want to help out with this show. You might want to jump in and help some people on the Discord on some AI stuff that they're working on, or any type of talent that you have. We're working for people to jump into this community and be a part. And then the treasure, I never belabor the treasure. You know what the treasure is. And there's lots of ways here on TikTok. There's lots of ways, if you check out the bio, where you can jump in and participate in that way if you don't have the others or if you have a lot. We really appreciate it, and it all goes towards this show and really trying to build this community up. And that's also means going over to Steven's Patreon, to Lightspeed Patreon, and jumping in there or jumping into his things. He's got things over there right now, and he's trying to build that community up. So support him in any way that you can. All right, so let's get back to some of these favorites. Now, do you have, so we know that Zoltan feeds a lot of inspiration to you, but do you have a
For sure.
favorite designer yourself? Someone you really
Yeah,
appreciate?
without a doubt, is I'm gonna say Clock Spring is like a huge like designer crush for me. One of the guys that just every single month, like I see his stuff and it's I don't know where he finds the time or
I
whatever,
know.
but it's wild. Like when I see his boxes, and I know I'm fast in Fusion, I'm pretty quick. And I think just the time it must take that guy is insanity. Like he's got to work around the clock. He's
Yeah,
got to be a workaholic for
I
sure.
agree. And you know, I'm right there. I'm a huge Clock Spring fan. I mean, I've got like 6 or 7 things within reach of me that are Clock Spring, and even my pride and joy. Where is it? Come on. My pride and joy model that he signed for me.
Oh, that's
The
awesome.
chess piece.
You know what's funny is I don't really print his stuff anymore. I haven't probably printed a Clock Spring model in a year. I support him on Patreon. He's one of the few that I do, and when
Mm-hmm.
I look at his models, I just like I gawk at them. Like it's wild what that
Yeah.
guy can come up with.
I know, and I always pick on him about how overly engineered, but he loves to over engineer everything. But he does an amazing
Yeah,
job at it. So that's great.
he's an amazing guy and a good person too, a good human.
Let's see. The Lightspeed, LOL. It's always nice to see the experience. I use Nomad and ZBrush. Um, Carrot Box, thanks
I
for
know I
helping
see some
me.
comments for people talking. They're saying, "Oh, he called it sloppy."
Yeah,
I'm just saying I'm sloppy in it. Like
yeah.
when I get done with when I am in there, I just feel like it's not my it's just not my jam.
I
I've
get it.
tried. I've modeled some stuff,
Yeah.
but it's hard for me.
No, I get it.
Yeah,
Alien Destination, who just stepped in the room. He's a big Nomad person. He loves Nomad like
he's a
nobody's
master.
business. He does a really, really good job. Some people just get it. And then
Yeah,
other of us, I'm a Fusion guy. I sit in Fusion most of the day. I play with Shaper 3D some, but you know, we all have different ways that we think, and I think there's software out there for all of us. I think that's about it that I see in the room. Favorite color of filament? Do you have a favorite color of filament that you like to use?
Uh, I tend to my favorite all-time filament color, and probably filament too if I think about it, is called God, it's gonna escape me, but it's from Filamentum and it's called Vertigo Galaxy.
I knew exactly what you were gonna say.
And for a million years, nobody copied it. You
Yeah.
couldn't find it absolutely anywhere. You could only import it from Europe. And then I started seeing it kind of trickle in and here and there. But basically, it's a pitch black with tons of gold flake in it.
Yeah.
It's my absolute favorite
It's a good one. It's a good one.
by a landslide.
That was
Yeah,
between Filamentum and Protopasta. I'd be Scrooge McDuck. Like throw it all in a room and I'm in. I
yeah.
love both of
I
those.
mean, I love Protopasta a lot, but I mean, the cost is, and I know I talked to Al or with Alex
Alex. Yeah.
Dick a lot, but he just I mean, I know they just don't care, and I think at some point that's going to catch up to them. But they make some amazing stuff.
Yeah.
But man, oh man, it is not cheap.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Favorite model you have ever printed?
So I told you I remembered what. So I have a bunch of models that I keep. Not um, and I don't know the name of it, but I got it off of my Memory Factory, and it was a bust by Eastman of like an Avengers character. I don't know what it is, and I always keep it in my drawer. I don't show it off. People get prints today on bamboos, and they're like, oh, look how great it looks. I don't think people that are in the space now that are new to the community don't realize how hard it was 7 years ago to get that quality. And so I have a print that came. I had a See Me CNC Artemis.
All right.
It was a $3,000 Delta, and I remember one day I had it all tuned perfectly, and I did this bust from Eastman, and I did it in Tom Sandler's burnt orange from
Yep.
Protopasta, and it is by far still today, even with bamboo in the picture, the most flawless print I've ever seen in my life, and I've always kept it.
That's awesome.
So
That's awesome. Yeah,
I don't know what it's called though. I forget the name of it.
I think people don't even realize, like pre-COVID, how hard it was to get a good print. You still
Dude,
had to work pretty hard to get a good print. And I'm like calibration king. Like I calibrate all my machines into like an inch of their life.
well,
So
Asylum, I used to tell people when as you want to be a social media influencer in 3D printing, awesome. Prior to the bamboo coming on the scene, right? Like I built a huge following on Twitter by posting stuff on Twitter that most people would look at and go, unbelievable. Like I'm never going to get, they would look at it and go, how is that possible on a 3D printer? And I would tell them, you got to tune, you got to test, you got to tune, you got to test. And there was so much work involved to get this fantastic result. And now what we get today is like, if you're still thinking that you're going to get it by posting great prints on Twitter, a following is not going to happen because now
right,
everybody gets great prints.
right.
It's become the norm to like get fantastic results.
I'll
You know,
still put my calibrated MK3 up against a bamboo any day, as far as like in-person
mm.
quality. In-person
Oh
quality, I
wow.
will sit there and I'll put it. Yeah. Now the A1 to me is way better than like the X1C or anything. Those machines were fine, but the A1 series just seems to be so much better.
Well, the Prusa. So I had a farm of Prusas, and I loved my Prusas, and I can agree with you. Like they can put out some phenomenal prints,
Yeah.
but they have an issue is that 602 issue from the extruder gears.
Yeah.
So like I used to always upgrade mine to Bondtech 3-to-1 gear ratio,
Gotcha.
whatever,
Yeah.
and they put out great results for sure. There's no denying that, and I think the MK4 puts out good results too.
Yeah, we got
So
Try over here saying I spent 5 months tuning my Voron. It became an
I believe it.
unhealthy obsession. I get that. I believe it.
It really
I
is.
believe I'm building a 2.4 right now, and like I don't know if I should continue or if I should stop because
No, man, it's still relevant in today's
yeah.
world, and like my 2.4, I built like five V zeros, and they were miserable. I hated it.
Mm,
It was the worst build of my life. The little nuts and the little everything's tiny. But when I built my 2.4, man, it was like a religious moment. Like it was so beautiful how that thing's put together. It's fantastic. The guys who designed the Voron 2.4 are geniuses, man. They really are. It's a fantastic printer.
that's great. Try. I would advise that. So many nights telling my wife to get out while I fiddle with that. That's don't tell your wife to get out. I will never advise that. I will never advise
Yeah,
that.
but
Um,
they are beautiful printers, though,
yeah,
for
they
sure.
are. They really are. Um, so is there one, when it comes to 3D printing, is there one tool that you suggest that every printer needs?
Um, I mean, God, in today's world, man, it's crazy. So the only tool that I always have now is I got a 24-in-1 socket set off the TikTok shop, and I think that's something you got to have because you're taking screws and nuts apart all the time. But man, I don't know. I think a good scraper is probably a good
Okay.
answer. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has changed so much. I agree. It's definitely a different world. It is funny, and I talked to even my brother who kind of got into the printing later, how through COVID printing just it's like we came out on the other side a different world. Uh,
Totally, like a warp.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, do you do anything else within the makerspace? I know you talked about this See Me CNC thing. Do you do laser engraving? Do you have other stuff that you dabble in?
No, no, not really. I mean, I got a laser from the TikTok shop, and I did like one laser thing and got rid of it. But uh, no, not really.
Okay.
Just 3D printing. I don't even mess with resin, to be honest with you. I've never
Okay.
seen a resin printer in real life.
Oh,
So
wow. Wow.
yeah.
What's your favorite slicer?
I'm gonna say Orca slicer, bamboo
Okay.
slicer, Orca slicer. Yeah, for sure.
I've kind of moved over to Orca. I'm still using Prusa and definitely the bamboo slicer, for that. But Orca,
Hmm.
Orca has almost won me over. It really has.
I like Orca and the Soft Fever, the guy who developed it. Like he follows me on Twitter and we talk once in a while. But there's still little quirks in it that aren't great. Little things that bother me, but it's pretty good. The profiles are all super good. Like he made sure all the profiles in Orca are really nice.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Guys, keep coming. Keep those questions in the chat room. Keep those. We are coming close to a close. I know we're a little bit past 9 and everything, but I want to make sure that we get the questions in. We got somebody. I live by lychee. So
Yeah,
cool,
I've heard
Lantern.
people. I've I've never used it. I know you can use it for FTM, but I've never used it.
Now you've got a Patreon group, and
Hmm.
but there's one leg of your Patreon group I don't think a lot of people realize that you have, and it
Yeah.
seems to be this group of guys that you're kind of mentoring or you're working together on like
Yeah.
affiliate marketing plans or so. Can you explain that to everybody what you're
So
doing there?
so about 60% of my income comes from TikTok Shop. So there's people on TikTok Shop that make stuff just to get free stuff, and then there's people that do it that are trying to make income out of it. I found a guy that makes $50,000 a month on TikTok Shop,
Wow.
and that is my driving force, right?
Wow.
So I started doing it for myself, and I get questions every day like, how do I get free samples? How do I get a company to support me? How do I get free printers, or I get free this or whatever, right? And so I just made a $35 a month. You still get access to all the models. And then this is like a group of people. We meet one on one every week in person on Discord. And we coach each other. And what it's turned into is, some people are having good success, some people aren't. Some people wanted like magic, and some people are realizing that it takes a lot of work.
Right.
But yeah, it's a group basically of 3D printers that do, a lot of them do shows and sell online. They all do different things, and we basically just talk about strategy with making videos. But most of all, what I try to do for them is I say, hey, we got 15 people, so I go to I have a an ambassador contract with Anchor, EcoFlow, working on one with Jackery. So what I do is I go to those companies and say, hey, don't just use me, use my whole group.
Right.
So we're like leveraging the whole group.
That's great. That's
And
great.
so you'll see a lot of the people in my group are now doing Anchor stuff, and now they're doing EcoFlow stuff. So it's just like it's because a lot of people don't have the following, right? So like these companies, Anchor wants to see big following. So I tell them, hey, trust me, I'm working with them. We're going to make X amount of videos every week, and then I get their foot in the door,
Right.
basically.
Well,
So
and with you saying that, the number of videos a week, you post a lot during the week, especially in the like
mhm.
this last 3 months or so. You've really stepped it up. You're answering a lot more
Yeah,
of your stuff through videos. Doing how
yeah.
many? What's your goal per week, per day? How do you look at it?
Well, so my goal, this affiliate marketing thing started in December, right? I bought a battery off the TikTok shop. It went uber viral, right? It went 8 million views. Um, but when it only had like 20,000 views, Anchor reached me and said, hey, can we have, put a link in there, right? You can make money off of it. I was like, oh, wow, I didn't even know. And I made like $14,000 that month
That's
on
great.
that one battery.
Yeah.
So that kind of like started my head rolling around this whole thing. So I started a separate channel just for TikTok Shop. So there's another channel called the LightSpeed Prints, and it's just for TikTok Shop and selling my 3D prints. But it's leaked over into this channel, my LS 3DP channel, because it had a bigger following at the time. Now they both have about 20,000
Okay.
ish. Um, but I know people hate it. Um, but I try to minimize it as much as possible. But I do try to post every single day something for the TikTok shop, and then something that is 3D printing related, both, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And
yeah,
that's
it's a balance.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. It definitely is. And that's I'm starting to do like every Wednesday I'm doing a product video. That's kind of
Yeah.
how I'm going to try and handle it. And once I reach 6,000 and I had my first 20,000 view uh video for my creator shop, then people started reaching out to me, and I thought that was really interesting how
Yeah.
quickly that changed. Um
You know what's wild is I had that same battery that I bought in December that went viral. I made a ton of money off of it. Last Friday, a new video went viral again.
hmm,
Another, that same battery, same product. And I'll tell you, it's like when you get a taste of that, and you just all day long you just see $8 at a time, cling, 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 cling. It's like, I don't know. I'm obsessed with it. Like,
yeah. Oh, I get it.
you know,
Especially when it's your livelihood, when it's your business, when this is how you're
yeah,
supporting your family. I
Yeah,
totally
it
get
saved
that.
my life probably, to be honest.
So
So
so you say, you have some stuff go viral. Um, and I want to form a question for the people in the room, because I know a lot of people are kind of in the same situation, and that's why I wanted to mention
mhm.
that Patreon tier. But is there? I know people who are working themselves to death, putting videos out and doing things, and they are just not having success. Do
Yeah.
you have any advice for a person like that?
Yeah, so I look at guys like try not to break anything. Binsky build, Brady, Ben Prendergrass, right?
Mm,
Um, those guys put so much work into their videos. It's insane.
yeah.
It's criminal. It's criminal that try not to break anything, or Binsky, or not like having viral videos. And last December, or no, October, November, December, I had like 6 videos go viral on my other channel. Um, and there's like these lulls, right? Where like I'm only getting 200 views. It sucks. I don't even want to make a video today. But I tell myself every day, like, you got to keep pressing on, man. Because I'll tell you what, it's not your video quality, and it's not your voiceover work. It's not your editing even, because I've seen the worst videos go viral.
Yeah.
It's your persistence, perseverance, uh, stepping forward every day. That's it. You got to force yourself to put the content out there.
Yeah.
And what will the algorithm pick up on? We have no idea. I don't think anybody knows. But if you're not putting the content out there, you have zero chance. I'm telling you. You got to put out content every day.
Yeah.
That's the only answer.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. It's so funny that, I mean, I have done like minute and a half cinematic, spent time doing all the right shots, making it look good, adding, and it's amazing. And it's something that I would send out to all my audio and video buddies that I used to work with, and everybody's like,
Yeah.
and it gets 100 views. But
When I
then,
used to run a corporation, I had this saying, right? The thing that kills a company and kills a content creator, I believe, is it's called analysis paralysis,
yep,
right?
yep,
When you're so hung up in the making the content and not the content itself, you're destined to fail. You really
exactly,
are.
exactly. And that's, and I learned that because I put out a little bamboo ad, 30 seconds. Hey guys, Bamboo Lab printers are on. If you want to get started in 3D printing, you should buy one from the TikTok shop. See ya. 20,000
Yeah.
people in a week. And it's like, what the heck?
Yeah, I sold a ton of printers over that sale,
Yeah.
and I tried a new and again, these are all just random theories I picked up on Reddit, right? Somebody said if you make 3 videos back, right, you make them boom, 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 and you release them back to back to back, that one of them will go viral, and that happened to me
Hmm.
2 times with bamboo videos.
Yeah.
Is there any rhyme or reason to it? Hell no, it's all a guess. I
Yeah.
don't know,
No,
but
that's cool. That is
you
cool.
could try it. Try
Yeah.
it.
No, I'll try
Do
it.
triplicate videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done some different things. I've tried different strategies. I mean, I totally know why I'm not very consistent. I'm not totally consistent I'm not
Yeah.
the everyday. I'll put something out when I want to put something out. I mostly talk about the community. And so a lot of my stuff is not something that would go viral. I totally get that. And,
Yeah.
but that's the advice though, is being consistent and pushing forward, which goes with anything, like we talked about earlier, when it comes to practice and when it comes to, pianists and organists, when they're practicing, they say, do it 100 times right and you'll never miss it again. And
Yeah.
everybody just talks about doing, and it eventually comes, and you'll understand the
Right.
process better. And that's that simplicity on the other side of complexity. It looks hard now,
Right.
but on the other side, you're going to realize, oh, I get it now.
That's
Uh,
true.
so guys, give me more questions here. We're going to come up to a close here pretty soon.
No hard questions? Jeez.
I know, right? I think
Dang.
the raft was the hardest one that we had. Um,
Yeah.
but no, I've really, really appreciated the everything that you've shared tonight. I know there's a lot of things in your journey that to some people would feel embarrassing, or but just the way you share it and you encourage everybody, I think that's beautiful. And like I said, that's a testament to you. That's a testament
Yeah.
to who you are in the
My mom
community.
raised 3 kids, and she was a bartender, worked 2 jobs. And listen, my our all of us kids, my brother's like an entrepreneur, my sister like works with kids with autism. and we've all succeeded in life. And the one thing I got from my mom is quick wit, um, and putting wearing your heart on your sleeve.
Yeah.
People think I'm a jerk, but to be honest with you, I'm a super emotional person, like massively. So and that's the only way I know is like just put myself out there, basically.
Yeah.
So.
No, that is great. So what is in the future for Lightspeed? What can we be looking forward to?
Well, I'm focused right now on maintaining. I'm maintaining two things right now. So I'm trying to keep my clock spring ish style of modeling going one direction, and then doing the organic modeling on the other side. The organic modeling takes 10 times more time than the other stuff. So it's and I tell people this all the time is like, people ask me to do stuff all the time, right? Like, can you model this? Can you model that? And while I appreciate everybody's thing, like I do this 7 days a week. I'm not joking. I wake up every morning at 6:30 in the morning. I get at my desk and I'm there till 3 in the morning usually. And then I go to bed for a couple hours and wake up and do it again. And I do it 7 days a week. And I'm focused on like pushing my skills, like learning more about organic modeling. And so it could be anything. If you've ever been part of my Patreon, I always tell people, if you hate what I'm doing right now, if you cannot stand what I'm doing right now, give it about 2 days, because I post almost every day.
Yeah.
Last month I posted 66 models. Okay.
Yeah.
So it changes like the weather, right? Because my focus is to help people make money. It's not, I don't want to be Cinderwing, and I don't even want to be Clock Spring. I want to be the guy I want to be like Nico Industries, for example, where people join him because it's bringing success in their personal lives and taking this from a side hobby to a job. So that's what I want.
Okay.
That's what I want to do. Anyways.
That's great.
Whether we do it or not, I don't know. But.
Yeah, I know, right? Any other models with the name Mother-in-Law coming anytime soon? I love those boxes, by the way.
Yeah, and again, people, I get a lot of crap for that too, right? Like Thin Air 3D. Look, I've always given upfront credit. Thin Air 3D is the GOAT of all time. If you want a great product, go do them. But yeah, I love making those models. Once I learned how to do it, it's one of my favorites. And yeah, we're going to revise the Mother-in-Law box for sure.
Awesome.
We have a bunch of, by the way, last holiday season, I mean, I woke up one day and had orders for 600 of those boxes.
Wow.
On TikTok Shop.
That's great.
Wild.
That is great.
Yeah.
That is great.
They sell, is my point.
Yeah, no, definitely. Hey, thanks for all the taps. Thanks for all the likes, guys. We're starting to wind down. Get those last questions in. We're going to go into one more topic here really, really quick, and then we're going to close it out. But I know a lot of people follow you, and I know a while back there was Danny that you were talking about, and just wanted to kind of see, is there an update? Is there anything you want to tell us about what's going on with that?
And again, this is the stuff that this stuff kills me about this community, but it can be, this community can be vicious at times. And one of the most amazing things, right? So if you guys didn't hear, my son had a friend that my son drifts cars. And so he had a friend that he drifted cars with that kind of got him into drifting. And for whatever reason, don't know the reason, he went in front of one of his friend's houses one day and pulled out a you-know-what and did a you-know-who in his front yard. We don't really know why.
Yeah.
It was the day before Mother's Day, and his mom was destroyed over it. His whole family was destroyed over it. So I put a plea out, right? Because they were broke, and my kid was like, "Dad, can you use your whatever following you have to like drum some money up for this?" So I put it out there, and the overwhelming support was crazy. And here's the thing that got me. Joe Prusha, insane. Like, I'm just telling you,
That's
Joe,
awesome.
My impression of Joe Prusha changed forever that day. I'm telling you, if you think he's a bad person, I think you should look at it again, because he did the most generous thing. He never posted it anywhere. He did it totally anonymous, but I'm telling you, he gave, and it gave that mom the ability to put her kid in the ground, the way she wanted.
That's great.
So,
awesome.
and a lot of people donated. So, but the update is, my son struggled with it. He's 18 and he idolized this kid, So yeah, it's just you gotta do one day at a time. You know what I mean? So,
And is your son doing
but
okay? Is he
he is. Yeah, he's doing, by the grace of the Lord, man. I'm telling you,
awesome?
he got his first like real girlfriend like right after that,
Okay.
and being an 18-year-old boy, I think that helped him kind of move past it
Yeah.
a little quicker, easier. So,
Yeah.
yeah, pretty cool. So,
Yeah, that's
thanks
great.
for asking.
That is great. No, and thank you for sharing. Definitely. Try wants to know if he says, Lightspeed, do we have a mutual crush on each other?
Maybe it's very possible.
It's
I
very
mean,
possible.
hey, you know what? I don't reach out for help very often, but he made those balls, the gear balls,
Yep.
I know he got a lot of heat for it, but so I was like, well, I can make those. So I Googled for a day, and there's no tutorial online for that.
Right.
And the model's been out since 2011, and I'm like, how has nobody ever done a video? So I just finally, I reached with my hat in my hand. I said, hey man, I need your help. So he jumped on a Zoom call with me, and he walked me through the modeling of it.
That's
And
great.
you'll probably never see me make one because it takes so much math. But try not to break anything is a flipping, like, intellect is off the charts.
That's
for sure.
Awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, he said he would teach
dude.
you how to make a particular model if you'd give him one of the power supplied things.
Yeah.
Or send a sponsor his way.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Hey, you know
funny.
what an interesting, what a life lesson, right? He's an attorney, an accomplished attorney.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting to me. Like, I say here I'm in the struggle every day, and I see a guy like try not to break anything. He's like, dude, I want to do what you do. I'm like, bro, this is a hard life, man. I want to do what you want to do. Maybe we could switch.
I don't know. Exactly.
Both our wives speak Spanish, so maybe we can figure that out. I don't know.
And can you call my parents and tell them that? Is what he says.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we all need that phone call to our parents. Maybe we could create a group and everybody could call each other's parents and help out. So that's great. Well, guys, any more questions? This is it. We're going to close it out, and I'm going to ask Lightspeed really quick. Is there anything else? One last thing that you want to say to everybody?
No, I appreciate the support. I know some people are apprehensive or whatever the case may be, but and again, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm just trying to make my way in the world like everybody else. I love what I'm doing, and I hope you guys will come along for the ride. There's a link in my bio. I have a showcase. You can buy all kinds of crap off the TikTok shop. So yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you very much, guys.
Hey Jay, he goes, I'll call you. I thought he said I already call your mom. I was like, oh no.
Guys, thank y'all so much for being here tonight. Thank you for being a part of this. I think we've heard an amazing story. Like we always talk, I've always said we like to learn. We like to learn from the people that we watch every day, and we've seen a beautiful story from this man. A guy that I think we could all call our friend now. He's a good guy. He wants the best for the community and everything. And just thank you so much for being here, Lightspeed. I definitely appreciate it. I think that Lightspeed is definitely proof of the three things that we talk about: living life to the fullest, growing in wisdom, and sharing what we know generously. Y'all have a great time, guys. See y'all Tuesday next week. And hey, maybe I'll see you over at Murph too. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thank you.